All right, folks, we're back. We're back, and I'm pouring a little bit more of my lemonade Rita. Glug, 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 glug. Okay, it's delicious. This stuff is so good. ASMR. So, I'm going to try not to go on a rant today. Apparently, as soon as I get some alcohol in my system, I go into rant mode. But, we're back, and it feels good. It feels good to be back. Well, I never left. Why am I saying it feels good to be back when I never left? So, we're continuing to crawl up, and the reason I felt like I was messing up so much before was because I didn't bring any battle scanners, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to bring more powerful utility items, but because we didn't have battle scanners, those first couple of moves came with some very huge risks, and we could have potentially lost the whole freaking mission from making a couple of bad moves at the start, but thankfully, because our soldiers are so powerful at this point, we were able to deal with it. But I do realize now that we have in fact been playing decently well. We've been making some pretty good calls, and there's been a considerable amount of luck that's been going on with those connections of 32% shots and all that. But I do have some other stuff to talk about. I wrote down a list. I always do this, but the list that I wrote down of things to say is vitally important to today because this is a very long recording session. All right, so the topic that we're going to talk about for today's part of the mission is the fact that it kind of stinks to have dated somebody that lives in my neighborhood. And I've kind of talked about this before, and in the last UFO that we were dealing with, I was mentioning that I dated a girl in my neighborhood once, and it was nice because it gave me a different view of the place that I live, because I don't hang out in the Bronx that much, because it's just kind of shit. But she did show me a couple of hidden gems. There's this crazy Mexican restaurant that's really good, and that's kind of it. That's really the only thing that I got out of that relationship. But she doesn't watch this. It's fine. You don't have to feel bad. But because she lives in the same neighborhood as me, every time I go outside, I'm a naturally paranoid person, so I get paranoid. I start looking over my shoulder, and I start feeling like she's just gonna be on the bus, or she's gonna pop out somewhere, and I'm gonna have to talk to her. And I've never ended a relationship on a good note. It just hasn't been in the cards for a number of reasons. It's just always been an absolute nightmare, and this one is no different. So there is going to come a time eventually when I'm walking around going to buy my alcohol or whatever the hell I'm doing, and I'm gonna see her, and I'm gonna be like, damn it, and it's gonna suck. But if there's anything that you learn from my channel, it's that always be aware that if you are dating somebody and you imagine that they are not going to be yours forever, make sure that they don't live near you, because if you are a paranoid person like I am, it's going to be kind of annoying. Because I haven't seen her in over a year, yet still I cannot get on the bus that I take to get to the train station that I need to get to go places. I still cannot ride that train and that bus without thinking to myself, shit, is she on this bus right now? Because I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her. And I know if there are any ladies listening, I know there was one lady named Kelly at one point that was watching my Civ videos. If she's still out there, I know you're probably thinking, you should just be a real man and talk to her and make amends. No, I'm not going to do that, because you know why? Because I'm a grown-ass man and I do what I want. and that's kind of the beautiful thing about being an adult. You get to decide what you want to do, and what bullshit you want to deal. Oh shit, I keep leaving Alfie O'Brien way in the back. I gotta move her up in the next turn. I'm inching forward very slowly because I don't want to engage before I'm ready, because I do believe that there is a pod in the next set of rooms, so I'm trying to be careful about that. But it's fine, you guys get a nice conversation along the way. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing about being an adult, is that you get to completely decide who and what you want to be. Right? I was on the elevator the other day, and there was this old lady. She wasn't old. Well, yeah, she was old. She was in her 60s, give or take 10 years. And I was doing laundry, and it was early in the morning. I didn't have breakfast yet, so I was kind of brooding while I was on the elevator. I looked upset. I hadn't shaved in about 3 weeks, so I looked shitty. I was just not in a good place at the time, and it was hot. So naturally, if you're on an elevator with somebody, and it's hot, you have to talk about the weather, because that is the only thing you can do to cut the tension. So she says, "Ah, it's really humid outside, isn't it?" And I do the polite thing to do, is I crack a half smile and I say, "Yeah, it's real hot." And she says, "Oh my gosh, your smile is so nice. You should smile more." And I didn't say anything to that. I said, "Eh." I went like, "Eh." But what I wanted to say is, "Bitch, I'm a grown ass man. I'll do what I want." If I and that's the truth right there. As a fully grown adult, if I feel like brooding, if I feel like not smiling, I'm not going to smile. And that is quite possibly the best thing about being an adult. People talk all the time about how it's so great to be a kid, but it's not. If anybody watching right now is under the age of 21, just know that life simultaneously gets better and worse at the same time. And we got a patrol moving towards us. We got 4 mutant that are actually not that dangerous, considering there are mutant centurions and whatnot. The regular mutants aren't that scary. Unfortunately, though, our overwatches aren't going to connect. We did get 1 damage on one of them because we had a stock on our gun. But that's not nearly enough to do anything meaningful. But because... Wow, this is... We've got some pretty good shot percentages. I'm trying very hard not to blow too many items early on, because the trick for having a smooth final mission is to save as many of your items as possible till the very end, because the final battle, it's got a softened rage timer, which means it gets progressively more and more difficult to the point where it's impossible to deal with it. But if you have enough weapons and utility items at your disposal, then it's not a big deal at all. So I'm trying to save all of the big ticket items for that. So we're going to move Desmond Silton into position here. And we do have a slightly... We don't have any great shots with him. But we do have holo targeting and demolish as well, which I can't remember if demolish triggers holo targeting, but I'm going to use that to destroy this mutant's cover. And we will find out soon enough if it triggers the holo. No, it doesn't, but it's fine. We destroyed his cover, so the effect is more or less the same. We are getting a target out of his cover so that we can increase our chance to hit him and crit him as well. So we're going to do that, and we are going to take the shot with Dos Santos. He's got a 69%. It's not bad. Boom. 8 damage. Didn't crit. He's got 2 health remaining. I did the math wrong. That's fine. We shouldn't have too much trouble dealing with that. So, right. If you're under the age of 21, then just know that life simultaneously gets better and worse at the same time. It gets worse because being an adult is shitty, because you have responsibilities and you have to deal with stuff. We'll just call it stuff for now, because I don't want to get into it too heavy. But it's better because you stop having to answer questions. You'll get to when you turn 21. You you never have to get denied the basics. And what do I mean by the basics? I mean alcohol. Sometimes you'll still get asked for an identification, and that's perfectly fine. Because when somebody asks me for an ID now, I take that shit out and say, bam, I'm an adult. I don't actually say that, but that's how I feel. that's absolutely how I feel. And we're gonna you know what? We've got 3 shots in our sniper rifle. I know for a fact that these mutant are going to either shoot or move, so I'm going to use Kill Zone with Liam Markles. This is going to cause him to take a reaction shot on whatever target does something in that cone of fire that we just set up, and hopefully that will prove beneficial. And we're gonna use Blackjack Carter again. We're gonna use rapid fire. It's got a 40-something% chance to hit, but unfortunately this time we're not gonna get lucky. First shot's gonna miss, the second shot as well. I believe it went down by 15 when we took the shot, so it wound up being 20-something%, 25%. I don't know. Yeah, I did that right. It was like a 27% chance to hit, but it didn't connect, so it's okay. And we'll just take the final shot with. Boom, we're missing all over the place now. We got really lucky in the first mission, and now our luck has officially run out. So we've got to start making bold plays. I would really like to eliminate at least one mutant, but that may not be possible. So it might be a safer idea to just blow a mimic beacon, the one and only mimic beacon that we have early on, because again, we're up against an enemy that shreds armor, and I want to keep as much of my armor intact as possible. So I'm gonna throw out the mimic beacon right here. That should be a that should be a smart play. It'll soak up at least 2 shots. And oh shit, did I even need to do that? Nah, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I probably didn't need to do that though. I forget that Commander's avatar is ridiculously overpowered. The psionic soldiers are an incredibly powerful unit in Xcom, but they are difficult to make if you don't get lucky with the resource generation and the randomness in the geoscape. It's a big investment that has a lot of potential to not pay off. Anyway, yeah, I pull out the ID and I say, motherfucker, I'm an adult and I do what I want. Give me that beer. And then they give it to you. And that's the beautiful thing about being an adult. Killzone, first one, coming out on that mutant, he's not going to get very far. That looked very painful. The second Killzone coming out, it's going to miss. That's really terribly unfortunate. The Mimic Beacon going to take the first hit. Boom, it's going to be a melee for 7 damage. Then the next mutant going to move. This is going to be our final shot because we only had 3 shots in our gun. I could have used a free reload, but I'm trying to be as efficient as possible with every item in my arsenal. So there we go. The next melee coming out for a big 8 damage, but it doesn't matter. The Mimic Beacon is just a distraction. And there we go. Losing only 1 point of armor. So at the end of it all, we did wind up saving a little bit because if all 3 of those mutants had taken shots, there'd be potential for 3 points of armor to go missing, and that's what we didn't want to happen. So it worked out in the end. So now we just got to clean up the rest of these guys, and this shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, being an adult, man, it's a mixed bag. It's a really mixed bag, and it gives you this weird power to decide exactly who you are and what you are without anyone being able to tell you otherwise. Because when you are a kid, or when you're a teenager or whatever, because I know if you are a teenager, you don't appreciate being called a kid. So if you are a kid, a child, a kid, or a teenager, you can be a dick, but people will try to change you from being a dick, right? If you think back to, damn, we're starting to get unlucky. We used up all of our good luck. It's over. This mission is about to get really difficult. That's XCOM, baby, right in the face. So you can be a dick when you're young, but people will tell you that you need to change your attitude right now. But me, I just used the double tap ability on Liam Markles, so he's gonna shoot twice and take out the target. So me, if somebody tells me I'm being an asshole, or oh my god, you should just make amends with your girlfriends. How dare you break up with her on Valentine's Day? That's so mean. I care. I do care, and I do have human emotions. I feel things, and I understand things. But I also have the power to say, you know what? You can go screw yourself because this is my decision and I do what I want with it. This is my life and I do what I want with it. And that is something you can do when you're younger, but try to say that to your parents. If you're 16 years old and you start mouthing off to your mom or your dad or whatever, your dad comes and tells you to do the dishes, you be like, screw you, Dad. I'm not doing the dishes today. What? Man, get your ass in there and do them dishes. Shit. Look at this big pile of meat. What have I done? Okay. So this is stupid. I knew I shouldn't have moved up, but I just wasn't. I fucked up. I fucked up. Oh no. I was about to start getting stupid now. Okay, so we're so yeah. Look, my point is you don't have the same freedom to just tell people to go screw themselves when before you get to a certain age. But when you are 21, I feel is the perfect age where you can just say, you know what, I don't have to listen to your opinions. I understand it. I see where you're coming from, but no, I'm not doing what you're suggesting. I don't agree with it. I do what I want. I'm a grown ass man. So yeah, that's that's that. But now we have a lot of interesting decisions to make. But I believe we're gonna come out of this exchange on top, even though it is gonna be pretty devastating because all of these targets are pretty powerful. But what we can attempt to do, is to gimmick the situation a little bit. We can, the way they're clumped up now, we can get some humongous damage on them. Or we can mind control one of the berserkers, and that might divert the attention of some of the other targets. So I'm going to go for that. The berserker is not the best target to mind control in this mission. Just a pro tip for anybody out there. If you get a gatekeeper early on and you mind control that, you have access to a ridiculously powerful tanking unit. But unfortunately, we haven't seen a gatekeeper early on. There is one on this mission. So if my mind control happens to be up again later on, then I will go for a mind control on it instead. But for now, we're taking control of the berserker, and this may prove to be beneficial to us. And Alfie Green Jelly O'Brien doing exceptionally well at the support role in the back. Okay, the mind control appears to be working. It's diverting the attention of the other berserkers. They don't really understand what's going on. They're just kind of looking at it, talking about, hey, what, aren't you our berserk? Are you with us or against us? What's going on here? The berserker's confused, and the faceless is going after it as well. It is going to connect for 3 damage, but the berserker has 28 points of health, and they're clumping up very nicely for a big area attack. So this is absolutely what we want to happen. I don't know why they're moving so strangely though. They're kind of wasting their action points, but why bother complaining about it? Why bother? Oh, and by the way, just by the way, I am starting to get a little bit tipsy. I'm feeling it, guys. I'm feeling it. And there's still there's still a lot of this shit left. And I apologize. I've been cursing kind of a lot today. But that's what happens when you drink a little bit. Ah, Christ. It's kicking in, folks. It's kicking in. So, we've got all of these targets, a gigantic pile of beef. clumped together like this. And okay, obviously I want to save my berserker for as long as possible, so why don't we get it out of here, because I'm about to blow up this whole area. So we're gonna move my berserker out of the way. And then we'll switch back over to the commander's avatar, and then we are going to blow the hell out of this area. And if we position it correctly, kind of like this, what's going to happen is the initial blast is going to hit all the targets, and then if they follow suit, they're going to attack the berserker again, the mind-controlled berserker, and then they'll get hit by the second blast. So that'll be a humongous amount of damage. And there we go, the enrage effect is coming out. This increases their mobility significantly. I always forget if that increases defense or not. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. No, it doesn't increase defense. But we do have some nice shots on them, but we also have the null lance available. So we're going to use that because it deals more damage. The commander's avatar, completely ridiculous. Look how powerful this is. Watcha! Massive damage. Oh yeah, the alcohol's kicking in though. And as soon as we deal with this pod, I suppose this will be another break in the episode. I'm not keeping track of time that well, so I may be cutting it a bit early, but don't worry. There's going to be a lot of Xcom this week. It's going to be one pod at a time. It's going to be pretty much one pod per episode, basically. But oh boy, is it going to be packed with a whole bunch of shenanigans, me talking about weird stuff. But isn't that what every episode is? Isn't that the real reason you watch? It's not just for Xcom. It's for the level of shenanigans, the level of ridiculousness that comes out of my mouth sometimes. We got a couple more things, but I guess I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler as to what I'm gonna talk about in the next episode. It is going to be why drinking is enjoyable for me, and all sorts of experiences pertaining to the fuzzy feeling in the brain that happens when the liquor, I don't like the word liquor, but when the liquor starts to kick in. So let's deal with this, and then we'll take a little break. All these guys are really bruised up, so it doesn't. I'll just take the shot at the berserker. So let's see how this plays out. Ugh. Ah, crap. Okay, it's going after the commander's avatar, but he does regenerate health every turn. So this damage is pretty negligible. We don't even have to blow a med kit on this. But unfortunately, the plan isn't going exactly as I wanted it to, but we are going to get these two faceless caught in the explosion. So that's nice. The berserker, again, taking a bit of damage, but anytime you have a unit mind controlled or hacked, if that unit gets attacked, it is essentially mitigation. And this faceless is smart enough to move outside of the radius of the purple stuff. And damn, that explosion is ridiculous. The version of that the codex use is not nearly as powerful, and all that debris is making it lag ridiculously. Boom, berserker gonna turn the pudding man into mush. And there we go, the FPS has returned to normal. So we are going to clean this up. We shouldn't have any sort of difficulty because both targets are at very low amounts of health. Buster Doom Guy Thompson, big shot to the chest, 11 damage. And we'll finish it off with Dos Santos. He's guaranteed to hit this because he has a stock on his gun. Right to the face. 10 damage critical hit, target neutralized. So on that note, we are going to take a little break. Well, I'm not going to take a break. You guys are going to take a break for a little while. But when we come back, we're going to continue banging away at this final mission. It's very exciting. I'm having a great time. And we are doing insanely well. We're doing really well. So we'll be back. And there we go.